Hey everybody, Mark here from the Winnipeg Whisky Club, bringing you the September 2020 preview of our Blender Bender whiskey tasting. This is a special whiskey tasting featuring blended Scotch whiskey and also blended malt Scotch whiskey. So check out and see what we have coming. We're going to get that going right now. All right, welcome Christian.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how about yourself?
Pretty good.
Great. You're the first in, so that's kind of cool. It'll probably take a few minutes. How are you doing out there?
Good. Just got started with classes today, actually.
Wow,
So
good to hear. So, well, I'm going to have to send you some whiskey.
yeah, I know we talked about that, but
Well, we have a lot of time, so we've got 3 weeks until the date. So if you want to, you can absolutely get your whiskey in time, and you'll be able to participate as well if you'd like.
yeah, for sure. I have to figure out what the mailing address and all that is here, so I'll figure that out and send that to you when I find that out. So
sounds good. Perfect. So you've been there how long now?
5 days. So, but yeah, classes just started up today. So
I saw you did a little bit of whiskey shopping already.
oh, I've done a lot already.
Cool. All right. Now I'm recording this. Now, where is everybody?
Hi there.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, that's Christian. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just getting lunches ready for tomorrow, getting my wife a glass of wine, so multitasking.
Well, you're better than me at that. We have quite a few people here now. Thank you for waiting. I see. Is that Joe? Welcome, Joe. Joe is in Chicago, and hopefully he'll be joining us for a couple of events, either just to hang out and join us, or possibly I'll be able to maybe send him a care package from us, which would be great. And we have Daryl. Welcome, Daryl. Thanks for joining. And the Christians. We have a lot of Christians in our club. Of course, I should probably say Christian to Monsieur Graton over there. And I think
I can go by Chris also.
Okay.
I go by Chris, so if that's easier, I'll go by Chris.
That's cool. And Christian Strecker, are you also bilingual?
I am, but that's mostly because I took French immersion in school. So
Oh, neat. All right. And we also have Christian with an E on it. I don't think he's joining tonight. All right, we got John coming in here. Welcome, John. Great, we got a good gang here. All right, so Daryl Marlowe, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm just fine. I'm tasting some of Monsieur Garton's American oak that I bought from him the other day.
Great, fantastic. Now, what a great thing that we started the club trading that's going to be taking place. So that's great. And Joe, since you're joining us, we started doing some friendly trading just for club members, but we also have a larger sort of Winnipeg whiskey exchange that we trade with as well. So we've got a number of ways for people to get the whiskey that they want, which is nice. All right. Sorry, John, I had to mute you. Okay, and we've got Dennis. Dennis, welcome. Thanks for joining. And you got a buddy with you there?
That's Mike.
Oh, that's Mike. Sorry, it's so small I couldn't see Mike. Mike's usually takes up the whole screen. Those broad shoulders of his. And Tyler with his new haircut.
What's up, Ty?
All right, great gang. Well, we're going to get started. So the purpose of this little event is merely to show you what's coming up for this month's Blender Bender. And hopefully you like that name. I coined it. It's a little bit kitschy. I think it's kind of cool. But basically, blender. Well, these are all whiskeys that focus on the blender as opposed to focusing on simply the distiller. So it's the blender that creates the profile of these whiskeys. We have, let's see, I think we have just one. Only one? Yeah, I think only one. No, two. We've got two blended Scotch whiskeys, and we have 4 blended malt Scotch whiskeys. And just to avoid confusion, I will call the blended Scotch whiskeys that contain malt and grain, I will call those blends. And the ones that are simply malt whiskeys blended together, I will call those malts. Okay? Or blended malts. I'll either use them interchangeably. Anyway, so we've got blends and we've got malts here. Blends and blended malts. And we've got ages ranging from 8 years old, get this, 8 years old, up to, can you guess how high we're going for age? Anybody throw out a number.
27.
Nope. Higher.
47.
No, not 40, not 47. No. Sorry, I would have to charge you guys triple to get that kind of whiskey in the club. In fact, I was just looking at a famous grouse in the Nova Scotia whiskey, their their liquor board. They've got a 40-year-old grouse. It's $3,200 Canadian. We could do that, but that would be the only bottle that we would do for 2 months. So I think that would be not so good. Hang on a sec, guys. My battery's dying here. Why is my battery dying?
Hey, Val. What did you just bottle kill there, my friend?
Okay.
Oh, you're muted there. I knew it was a Farkless. Oh, it's a 105. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I saw you dumping it right upside down for there. I figured it was a bottle.
For the people who don't know, Val, that's Joe. He's from Chicago. And hopefully he'll be joining us now and again. Hopefully more often than not, which is great. And what do we have? Mike, what have you got holding up there?
Ooh, compass box.
The circle.
Yeah, just getting warmed up for blender night.
You guys are killing me here. Well, I guess, what should I have? Something handy. There we go. I'll have a little bit of two brewers.
Oh, 2 brewers.
Okay, so pour yourself something,
Also,
and we'll get underway.
so is that actually. Yeah. Sure.
Hey, Mike, did you open that compass box you just showed us? What was that, the Circus? Circle. Oh, it's open. Very nice.
We're into it.
There's lots of Kleinlich in that one, isn't there?
No, it's 78% Tamdu,
Oh, cool.
and then 14% Kleinlich and 5% Highland Park.
Oh, cool, man. That's a cool blend.
It's awesome.
Well, we got a good gang here. That's certainly better than last month where we had, what did we have, 3 or 4 people that just joined. Although now I should tell you that we're recording this so we can post that on the club Facebook group. And I might even post it elsewhere just so that we can drive a little bit of interest. In fact, we've basically closed membership for this year. So there's a couple people sitting on the fence to join the last few events, but it's already way beyond that point now. So we'll just stick with our 41 members, and we'll have occasional guests to try to fill up the attendance if we are below 40 for any event. 40 is kind of like that's our goal. We can go up to, apparently, as James found out, we can go up to about 47. Although that totally kills the bottle, and some measures might be less than 15 milliliters, and then we also don't get to put that whiskey in our year-end sample set at that point. Anyway, so we try to keep it around 40, and if you've got friends that are interested, bring them as a guest. Make sure you let us know fairly early so we can try to put their name down as soon as we start allowing guests to join, which will be, I guess, that'll be Thursday next week. We will begin to allow guests once the enthusiasts have all signed up for this event. So without further ado, let's get on to the first whiskey that we have for the Blender Bender whiskey tasting coming up. And as you might guess, that's 8 years old. I've got them all sitting right there. I got to turn my camera. Uh-oh. That was a fail. Okay, so we've got Adelphi Glenborrodale. This is batch number 6. All right. Now, Adelphi, you might not be familiar with Adelphi. I'll bring that in close.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Adelphi is basically a independent bottler. Welcome, Rick. They're an independent bottler, but as many do, they have also started to blend, which is great. Again, trying to turn my, I'm turning the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, hopefully you didn't see what was over there. All right, so that's 8 years old, and this is 46% ABV. I believe it's unchill filtered and natural in color, and quite a nice shade there. So a beautiful golden hue. And I'll read a little bit about this for you, just about the whiskeys that are in this one. And I'm going to mute some people here. If you happen to be muted, then just unmute yourself if you're going to say something, okay? All right, so Adelphi Glenborrodale, 8-year-old, pardon me. This 8-year-old marries malts from Highland Park, Bunnahabhain, Tamdhu, and Glenrothes, along with some special Glenrothes that spent its days in a sherry cask. Okay, and that's one of basically 1,500 bottles for that Adelphi 8-year-old. And I see Rick is presently unavailable, but I'm not sure about the price in Canada for that one, but it's about 45 pounds. So I'm guessing roughly about $90 in Alberta. We don't carry that in Manitoba. All right, so that's number 1. Rick, do you know the price? Or sorry, Mike. I guess Mike, do you know the price of that Glenborrodale?
Just give me 1 sec. I'll bring it up. Yeah, $89.
$89. Okay. Take another sip. Okay, on to the second bottle reveal. Now, this is the #1 selling Scotch whiskey in the world. Actually, no. The #1 selling Scotch whiskey from a company in the UK, I should say. There are now Scotch whiskies coming out of India that are truly Scotch whiskies, but they're basically made just for the Indian market that now blow anything from Scotland out of the water in terms of volume of sales. But anyway, so this is a blended malt from this company, and I'm sure you might be able to guess what it is. Anyone? Anyone?
Is it Ballantyne's?
Oh, no, it's not Ballantyne's. Ballantyne's, I think, is number 2 or 3. Might even be number 4.
It's got to be JW.
I heard 2 voices there.
JW?
It's Johnnie Walker. And which number? Blended malt.
It's got to be #1, isn't it?
Well, it's got a 1 in it. I'll give you that. Daryl, Marlowe, you get a point. Okay, so that is Johnnie Walker Green Label. All right, so that's a blended malt Scotch whiskey. You can see that written there. Blended malt Scotch whiskey. And I'll just read that from the label. This is a blend of especially 4 malts. There may be more in there, but we've got Talisker, and we have Talisker from the Isle of Skye, Linkwood from Speyside, Cragganmore also from Speyside, and Coolila from the Isle of Islay. All right, so those are the main 4 whiskeys in this blend, amongst probably a number of others. And we have a huge Johnnie Walker Green Label fan in the club. In fact, there's 2 of them. I count myself as one of them. But there's another big fan, and that is Tyler. Tyler, tell us about your love of Johnnie Walker Green Label.
For me, that was kind of the gate opening whiskey that I had after having explored a whole bunch of different blended whiskeys, so with grain whiskey. So that being a blended malt, or a malt as we're referring to, gave me sort of the Talisker seaside and, that rock oyster note, or the sea kelp. And I thought that the four regions that they bring together in that blended malt really make it sing. So that changed things for me in a big way. And so I've always kind of kept it in my back pocket as, for nostalgia's sake, that it's the one that I'm glad it was reintroduced to the market when they brought it back. So
yeah, it was a staple, and then it disappeared, and then it came back very briefly as they called it like a special release before they finally brought it back full force onto the market. So this is the new version. You can see it's got a white stripe there, and very prominent base. Okay, and I think I'll show you. This is the one from the. This is actually minus 2. So this one's about 5 years ago. Okay, so that's the new version, and here's the old version. Certainly looks a little bit more old school with the gold on the label, how could there be a fruit fly in my bottle? I'm disgusted. Okay, anyway, so well, it should be well preserved, so I probably won't kill me, would it? All right, anyway, so that's the old green label, and I don't know if Tyler has it handy, but he's got even the older version, which has absolutely no extra glass on the bottom of the bottle. So it looks like he's going to get that, so that's great. And the reason I share that with you is just because, okay, let me just pull Tyler up here.
So I don't have the vintage bottling. It's upstairs. So I could go and get it, but I do have the sort of generation 1, which was the one that came right out at the beginning in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So it's gone through, I think, 3 redesigns, and this is the very first one.
That's the screw top.
Yeah.
All right. So good. So that's number 2. And let's get on to number 3. And that is, let me just check the order. And the next one, yes. Okay, so here we go. So this is also a blended malt. So a mix of single malts, and it's cask strength. It's also sherry focused. So that's awesome. And this one is, well, let me just play another little quiz. This one has a dog on the label. So who can tell me what that is as I pull it out of screen there? What bottle is this one? It's got a dog on the label. Anybody? Not a hugely famous brand yet, but that is Scallywag. Okay, Scallywag from Douglas Laing. And 12 years old. This is a blended malt, and it is 100% sherry cask matured. Okay. Surprisingly, a light color for sherry, but remember, there's different types of fill, and that can influence the color one way or the other. Okay, so a nice hue. And this one is 53.6% ABV. All right, so Scallywag is the next one. And I'll just tell you very briefly about what's in Scallywag. Let's see here. Okay. Scallywag typically includes some Mortlach, Glenrothes, Macallan. So those are the 3 main feature malts in that blend. In this case, all of them sherry. So you'll have sherried Mortlach, sherried Glenrothes, and of course some Macallan. I'd be surprised if there was much Macallan in there, but some of these older independent bottlers like Douglas Laing have great relationships with all of the distilleries since they've been around forever, and they seem to get at least an allotment of certain high-profile single malts every year. All right, so that's Scallywag. And has anybody tried Scallywag before? Okay, Mike has. Nobody else? Tyler seems to be shaking his head yes.
Is it available in Manitoba or no?
Most of the Douglas Laing stuff you're not going to see here. There's a lot of different versions of it. Like the regular Scallywag is pretty easy to find. This one is a particular limited edition one. That's why it's a cask strength one.
Yeah.
Most of the time with the Douglas Laing bottlings as well, they're non-age statement ones. This one here is a 12-year.
Mm-hmm.
I think Manitoba's had Big Pete before.
Yes,
but,
yeah, we had Big Pete.
Might have been the only one.
Okay, it's super cool looking. I love. Obviously, doesn't necessarily mean that what it'll taste like, but I definitely love the tube on it. It's super cool.
Douglas Laing does really, really good whiskeys. Like, so what they do is they've got one bottling for each region. This being the Speyside bottling, Big Pete being the Isla one, Rock Island is the Islands one, Epicurean is Lowland, and what do we say? Timorous Beastie is the Highland one.
Yeah. So Big Pete, I think that was the first one that they put out. I don't know if they put them all out at the same time, but it's certainly the most high profile. And there are whiskey fans around the world that get this guy right here. Tilt that so that the glare isn't so strong. That get this guy tattooed on themselves. So that's the kind of marketing furor that was developed when Douglas Laing put these out. And interestingly, these characters were the reason that the Laing brothers decided to split up the company. And we featured Scarabus. This is from Hunter Laing. That was featured last year in October at the first Dram Room. So Scarabus and also the Old Malt Cask. That's from the other brother, the other Laing brother. So they're kind of I don't know if they're still friendly or not, but at least in terms of the all the whiskeys, they split the company up, so they must not be too happy with one another. Anyway, so Scallywag is the next one. All right, and now we're going to go way up in age, and I think we're putting this one next because of its lower ABV, but interestingly, it's actually cask strength, which is cool. And this is from a new independent bottler that started doing some blending as well. So they're an independent bottler / independent blender. And this one is 31 years old. And that comes from North Star. And this is their Sirius blended malt Scotch whiskey. And that is their limited edition #1. And cask strength, get this, cask strength at 43.1% ABV. So that's quite unusual. Now, except for the board members, can anybody tell me how a cask strength whiskey that's a blended malt could be 43%? Any thoughts? Well, here's go ahead.
I would say it's because of its age. As it ages, it loses its ABV a little bit every year. Isn't that the case?
That's true. You might have single casks that are into the mid 40s. In fact, some of them even dip below 40%.
Yeah.
And so they're locked. Basically, they're locked in the warehouse because they have to blend it with something else to get the ABV up to minimum 40%, because you can't bottle Scotch whiskey below 40%. So that's probably what happened here. Is North Star picked up a few of these lower ABV casks and then blended them with some higher ABV casks to get that 43% ABV. Anyway, so Christian Graton, you're right on the money. And here's a little bit about this one. Let's see here. Okay, so from the maker, this one has a core. The core malt in here is Clynelish. So Clynelish is the core malt, and I don't know much anything else about what else is in there, and it doesn't tell me anything in the back here at all. But first fill ex-bourbon casks. So first fill ex-bourbon for 31 years minimum, with the lion's share being Clynelish. Mike, did you find out anything?
Oh, it's got a great color for being ex-bourbon.
Oh yeah,
it picks up a lot.
Of course, that's 31 years. So I you'd hope it would be nice and dark. Mike, did you find out anything about this when you were out there?
No, and North Star is not super transparent with a lot of their blends and stuff that's inside of it. So we can try and figure something out, like if we can find something out prior to the actual night. But I don't know much about it otherwise.
So typically the Sirius is their Highlands blend, and they have another one called Vega, which is primarily Speyside. So that's how they have been trying to market them.
Rick, have you tried these two yet?
I have tried the Vega, but not this Sirius one.
All right, so Highland oriented and with a core of Clynelish. And for me anyway, Clynelish is probably one of my top 10 distilleries anyway. So top 10 for me. And I think James, wherever he went, he would probably agree that Clynelish is high up for him. Wouldn't you, James?
I'm sorry, my brand new puppy is crying when my daughter's going to bed, so I'm trying to handle doing that. But yes, Clynelish, love it.
Can we see the puppy?
Just one sec.
James brought home a brand new puppy today. Now he's a baby daddy and a puppy daddy.
Here she is. This is little Geordie.
She's big.
Well, she fits in my lap.
Well, she's bigger than my dog.
She's whimpering because she loves Kaylee more than me so far. So Kaylee is dealing with Isla right now.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a good girl though. So yeah, I'm going to be out and about here.
Okay.
Trying to pay attention.
Thanks for sharing that. Okay, onward and upwards. Okay, so then the next one we have in the selection for our Blender Bender night. This is arguably the most famous independent blender of Scotch whiskey. Any guesses as to who that would be? Starts with a C. C-O.
We're getting a Compass Box?
Compass Box, yes. All right, so Compass Box, and I'm going to pull up my info for that. Compass Box, and this is Compass Box Rogue's Banquet. A gorgeous label, like such ornate labels that they make. And Winnipeg has only one Compass Box on hand. I think that is Peat Monster right now. Anyway, so Compass Box Rogue's Banquet.
And this is our first blended Scotch.
That's right. Yeah, this is the first of two of the blended Scotch whiskeys that have a component of single grain included.
I call dibs on the empty bottle for the label.
Sorry?
I call dibs on the empty bottle so I can have.
Okay, anyway, so Rogue's Banquet.
That's a no.
Well, that's, I didn't say no. It's just a label. All right. Now, this has 1, 2, 3, just 4 components in there. And I have a hard time figuring out the youngest. So, Mike, maybe you can help me out here. We have Glen Elgin.
So yeah, there's a 19-year-old Glen Elgin inside of it, but it's only 2.2%. The other 97.8% of it is all 25-year.
Yeah. Okay. So it is. You just count each ring as 1 year. Okay.
Yeah, we'll go over that on the actual night when we see the graph and whatnot.
Good. Okay, so then the other malts that are in there, we have Kleinlich, and surprisingly only 3%, because usually Compass Box basically also focuses on Kleinlich for a lot of their whiskeys. So Glen Elgin was the other one. And Glen Elgin, Milton Duff is the lion's share at 68%, almost 69. And then North British is the single grain whiskey that's included in this one. Oh, it's right on the back here. I could have just read it. Beautiful. So that's going to be really exciting. And this one's 46% ABV. Also, it's unchill filtered and natural in color. Okay, now before I get on to the next and the final, hopefully the premier whiskey of the night. So far, how are you feeling about our Blender Bender whiskey tasting coming up on September 30th? Who's super excited? Show me those thumbs. All right. And Christian's waiting patiently. He wants to know what the last one is first. So this one just came to me today. And, well, even though he's not here, I have to thank Colin because he let the club buy his bottle from him, which was very nice. Although we could have picked up one from Alberta and had it sent here. But anyway, that was a good thing for us. And as I mentioned, this one's 35 years old. I don't think anybody here will be very familiar with this one. And this is the Antiquary blended Scotch whiskey. It's so big I can't get it beyond there. There we go. Antiquary blended Scotch whiskey, 35 years old. All right, and I'll just pull that out. And this is from the same company as Tomatin, which is owned by a French company, I believe. Okay, and so there's the bottle. This one's 46% ABV, very classic label, and also unchill filtered and natural in color, which is fantastic. And I have a little bit of info here for that one as well. Okay, so this one is basically just two whiskeys that go in here. One of them is Tomatin, and that's 50%. And then the other 50% is from Jervan Single Grain Distillery. So that's a 50-50 blend. And as I said, it is 35 years old, 46% ABV, all natural color and unchill filtered. So that's going to be very exciting. Now, Winnipeg's had some Tomatin. Have you had a chance to try any yet? Yeah, good. And we had one Tomatin last year. I don't think that's what was it? In 1995, I believe we had a really nice Tomatin for one of the events. But anyway, it's going to be really interesting to try that blended with Jervan. Jervan, interestingly, is owned by the same company that owns Glenfiddich. Probably they have millions and millions of liters per year that they're making. So lots to go around. But that's the selection for tonight. Now I'd like to hear from you guys. Which one are you looking most forward to here? Let's start with Daryl.
That Sirius holds a lot of interest for me. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to getting a taste of that one.
You know, likewise, I'm a super big fan of ex-bourbon maturation, so really excited to try that one. Anybody else? Christian Strecker, what about you?
I'm definitely looking forward to the Rogue's Banquet. I've never had anything from Compass Box that I haven't liked yet, so looking forward to that.
Oh, and why don't you tell us where you are and what you're doing over there?
So right now I'm in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and I'm going to school taking their artisan distilling program. So hopefully once I finish this up, I can actually get into the industry.
Fantastic. So since we have 3 weeks before our event, hopefully I will promise Christian, if he wants to join us, that he'll get a sample set sent out to him.
It was so sweet.
And I think maybe the club will pay for your shipping, as long as you pay for the whiskey.
Definitely, that'd be very appreciated.
Okay, cool. Okay, Dennis, how about you?
Yeah, I'm all about the compass box. Waiting for that one.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well. My first compass box was, which one was it now? The not the Peat Monster, but the it's gone with the
Hedonism?
Spice Tree. Tree, thank you. And it really blew me away. Did anybody try the first edition of Spice Tree?
First edition.
No. So that's the one where Compass Box got their hands slapped by the Scotch Whisky Association. The first of many times that their hands have been slapped for using inner staves, which are prohibited by the Scotch Whisky Association. So that's strange. And Joe, what about you? If you were able to come, what would you be interested in?
Sorry, before you go,
Val.
it's Daryl.
Val, sorry.
I got a question on what you said.
Yeah.
Inner staves. What do you mean by that? I'm just a newbie here, so.
Mm-hmm. So my understanding is that they've taken the head off the end of the cask, and they have fixed extra staves inside that connect to the head of the cask, and then they put that back on and resealed it. Anyway, so that's what they would do is they would take, I believe it was toasted French oak staves, and they put those onto the flat part of the head. In fact, I've got a little cask here. Okay, so they take this part off, and then they'll fix extra staves to that, and then put that back in. So just basically adding a number of extra wooden staves, and each of these pieces is called a stave that go this way. Okay, so those are the staves, and that's the head. Anyway, so that was my understanding, was that the Scotch Whisky Association doesn't allow inner staves. So they basically had to never make it like that again. And so now that that Spice Tree, they take off the original head, and they put on a whole brand new head of toasted French oak and put that on, so that it basically has a similar effect, but the surface area of the wood was greater for the staves than for the head. So that's why I think the first edition of Spice Tree is a highly collectible whiskey.
So the intent is to give it extra flavor.
Exactly. Yeah. You just have to think like new wood is essentially like a fresh tea bag, whereas an ex-bourbon or an ex-sherry cask is kind of like a tea bag that's already been used once or twice or three times, and the color also decreases with each time. So anyway, anybody else want to share their interest for tonight?
Sorry, this is actually my first time on Zoom.
Yeah, welcome.
So like on Zoom ever, but I was trying to say, Mark, my barrel is bigger than yours.
It's much bigger. What have you got in there?
A lot of a star, actually. But I remember watching a video. You were really excited about the one you put down in front of you on the floor, the Scallywag or something like that.
Ah.
If I recall correctly, you were very excited about that one. So that one intrigued me.
Yeah, I am hugely excited about this.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Scallywag, I think that was my no age statement whiskey of the year for this year. So that was a huge hit last year at our first dram room. And amongst the 23 people in attendance, we imported 16 bottles of Scallywag for members who wanted that, who wanted to get that. That is, I believe it's 7-year-old Kulila, maybe a bit younger, maybe 6, but then it's been finished for 3 years in virgin oak. So it adds a nice little bit of spice to that. But you can still get that. The price is unreal. It's like $70 or so. I think we paid $61 at the time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it here in Chicago, but this is actually my fiance Val's computer. She's the one who set me up on this Zoom. So, okay. Name is Joe, everybody. Just so everybody, just for the confusion.
Oh, so I was right. Yeah. Okay. You know, because it's funny because Joe, there's a fellow that's thinking of joining the club in Winnipeg, and with your hat on, it's hard to tell, and also the lighting. But thank you for reconfirming. I was very confused for a sec there.
Yeah, and doing on
this Joe also has sent me some delicacies from his collection, and I still haven't smoked that cigar. So I'm waiting until I can get another one because I want to try it at least twice. And the Thomas Hines, the cigar sellers here, they're out for whatever reason. But anyway, Joe, if you can't get that Scallywag, since I definitely owe you one, I'm going to have to send you some of that and a few other things that I have for you. Great.
Sounds good.
All right. Anybody else? I think I'm super excited about this. I think I'm looking forward to everything. I've had Green Label so many times. I'm happy to try it again, but that's probably the one I'm looking forward to least. Don't let that change your mind about it. Only because I've already purchased. I've got 3 bottles that are uncracked over there. I've got one here and one down there. So I'm Green Labeled out personally, but the reason why we chose that is because it's available in Manitoba. It's available everywhere, and I think a lot of people walk it by, and they think, oh, it's just Green Label, but it's a really superb whiskey, and it's what, it's like $80 something here for a 15-year-old whiskey. It's the best priced 15-year-old whiskey in Winnipeg, anyway.
I think that it's a really interesting whiskey as well, simply because Johnnie Walker has always been, Johnnie Walker is the brand, right? You don't care about what's inside it. But Johnnie Walker Green has always kind of been like the Scotch heads Johnnie Walker, because it was the only one that was a blended malt as opposed to just a blended Scotch. So you had that minimum level of quality a lot higher than in some of the other ones. So that's why you get a lot of people who are into Scotch gravitating more towards the green, even over something like the blue, which is, significantly more expensive than it. And I think that Johnnie Walker knows that, and that's why you see on the current bottling them showing off what distilleries go into it. That's not something that Johnnie Walker would traditionally do, simply because they were the brand. They didn't have to lean on what was inside of it as the components, because they were the thing you were buying. But for this one, because they know people like us are the ones that buy that one and drink that one, they want to show off those things because it's something that we would care about. So it's really interesting in that it's kind of like the Scotch Heads Johnnie Walker version. And for the price, it's awesome.
And it's interesting, though, historically, there was just Red Label and Black Label. That was the 2 Johnnie Walker that were available, I think, all the way up into the early 80s. Green Label was there was also Gold Label. So Green and Gold Label, I think, came out before Blue Label ever came out. I think Blue Label was 1992, if my memory serves. But yeah, I guess I would say he's probably that's right. Since they're flaunting all of the malts that go in there, they're after you and me for this bottle. That being said, I don't know. There's something about the 18-year-old that I really love. There's something about the 21-year-old that I really love, and there's also something about Blue Label that's really nice. But the issue is that low strength really makes it tough to approach when you're coming from our point of view. We want cask strength. We want all those bells and whistles. So, all right, cool. So that's what's coming up. Hopefully you guys will join us for that. And Christian, let me know. Christian Strecker, please let me know if you're interested. I'll get that out to you. And for everybody who joined, thank you so much. Any final comments?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I hope that we see all you guys out there. I think this is going to be a really, really good event, and hopefully it changes in people's minds as far as what you say the word blend or blended malt, really knowing what that means and what you're getting out of it. And there's some fantastic ones out there. So hopefully we can show you those and you'll leave with a different opinion.
Great, Mike. Thank you. All right, Tyler, any final words?
I was just going to say, I'm really excited about that Sirius now, knowing that it's got such a high proportion of Clynelish in it. So my number one pick is the Rogue's Banquet for sure, but I'm looking forward to pretty much the whole lineup. It's looking good.
I don't know. This number really attracts me, though. 35 years old. Sure hope it's good. All right. Well, guys and gals who are watching after the fact, thanks so much for joining. And to Joe, thanks for popping in to see what goes on here. We'll see you again. And everybody, really appreciate it. He's got that one. That's some nice stuff.
This is a very nice bar here in Chicago. If you ever get a chance, there are over 1,000 whiskeys right here in Chicago at this bar.
I will get down there, Joe, as soon as I can. As soon as that border opens, I'll be down there.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night, guys.